So this is actually old news. When I say old news, I mean like a couple of weeks since we do news every week.
Okay.
And I didn't talk about this the other week. James Bond is coming back to video games, baby.
What was that, Ed?
You heard.
And how appropriate that IO Interactive is doing it. The guys that make Hitman. And, you know, a lot of people have joked, like, just swap out the character Hitman and make it James Bond. It's a James Bond game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I do love, they have a thing called their Glacier game engine. And I think that the Hitmans have looked good for a long time. And they continue to look really good. I'm not going to say that they're the best games, Hitman, even though I love the Hitman games.
Yeah.
But I know that playing Hitman 2 felt like... Or there was one of them, I think it was 2, that felt like you were rehashing a bunch of Hitman 1 and playing a lot of those same tutorials. And so it didn't feel completely brand new.
Yeah.
But I never finished Hitman 2. But I do love the Hitman games. I think I've at least played all of them.
Yeah.
And so I trust IO Interactive.
Yep.
And I think James Bond is a great character that hasn't gotten enough attention since GoldenEye on the 64. And so they don't have a release window, but they said that it is in active development in both of their studios in Denmark and in Sweden. And they say both locations are recruiting talent from around the world. And they actually have a website where you can go to a career website and fill out an application and try to go work there. So I think that'd be really dope. And I just think that this is going to has the opportunity, I should say at least, of being amazing.
I hope so. That'd be great.
Have you guys, what do you guys think? James Bond. Tim, what do you think?
Absolutely, man. And I love the idea that it's the Hitman guys behind it, because I think I've always enjoyed what they do. Like, let's get a great story going, and it can follow that same James Bond arc that you see in all the movies. Like give me something amazing. Kind of hoping for like a Daniel Craigish kind of a Bond, like a real guy that can whoop some butt.
Yeah, little gritty.
Yeah, a little. I would love to see a little gritty Bond.
Not so pretty.
Yeah, still pretty, but a little gritty. And
you think in third person then, like kind of like Hitman, or you want to? Because what I haven't seen too much yet is like Hitman 3. You know, they've talked about like being in VR and being in first person.
Yeah,
first person and all this stuff. And so it's like
I like
thinking third person. Stay
I'm
like
thinking
the other
third
Hitman
person
games.
because you could have different outfits. You know, he always wants to look good and like
Dapper Dan.
Yeah, little Dapper Dan, and he's like black tie, but he's still whooping somebody's butt. And like I think a third party would probably be the best. And yeah, I mean, I've never played I never played GoldenEye back in the day. I've never played a James Bond anything, and so I've loved the movies, but like this would be, let's do it right, and I think they've got the right people to do it right too. So I think it'd be fun.
Ed, what do you think? IO Interactive scored freaking James Bond. What do you think?
I love it. I think it's a perfect marriage. And from what I remember hearing, this is going to be an origin story, which we've never seen from Bond.
That's right.
You know,
That's right.
it's always
An
just
origin
been
story.
he's
I
James
like this
Bond.
even more.
And so I'm super excited about that because I'm a huge James Bond nut, and to see something I've never seen before in a venue or in an arena where they can take the time to tell the story.
That's
true.
And not just have to wrap it up in an hour and a half. I'm excited about this, man.
One of the things that it says in the story from Gadgets 360 is the working title right now is Project 007. And it said it will feature the very first quote unquote wholly original Bond origin story, with players stepping into his shoes to earn their 00 status. So it could be like the end of the game is when you become 007.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And then
You're in training.
set up for a sequel. Yeah. Chris, what do you think? 007, does that float your boat at all?
I'm not like the biggest over the moon guy when it comes to 007 stuff. I've seen a handful of the movies, and I like him for like, hey, yeah, James Bond, you know, he's cool.
Yeah.
But I am absolutely in agreement that if there's going to be a James Bond movie in today's day and age, it only makes sense for the people who make Hitman to be making the James Bond game.
Please
Like
let there be a wood chipper in there. Please let
That
there be a wood
alone,
chipper.
like, ups my interest level because
Yeah.
even though I've not played one of the current Hitmans in a while, like I universally and like historically, I've always been a fan of the Hitman games. I've
Yeah.
always dabbled with
Yeah.
several of them, and they're a lot of fun to play, and they just get better and better with time. So yeah, I'm all on board with this.
Kind of like what you were saying, Gabe. Like, I hope he doesn't become James Bond until the end, and I hope
Yeah.
we don't hear that music until the end.
Oh my God.
Come on.
Like when he's putting on the bow tie or something like that, where he's like
I love
officially
it.
007. Holy
Like,
crap. So Ed, let me ask you this as a oh my gosh. I've like got shivers just thinking
I
about
know.
it.
That's amazing.
As a James Bond nut, Ed, as you've said, so James Bond has gone through a lot of phases, right? We've got like the very serious phase of late. We have the campy phase of like way back in the day.
Yeah.
Then we have like that weird, not that Pierce Brosnan was weird, but during the time that he was doing the Bond movies, it felt like we were trying to like push the edge of technology, but it like wasn't really quite there yet.
Right,
so like
right.
some parachute scenes where you're like surfing on a wave is gonna like look very green screen and very fake.
Right.
So the days of like Jaws being the bad guy and things like that, like, do you hope it's that kind of Bond or like the newer, like classier, just bad guy that we get?
Yeah, I want the classic Bond where the bad guy is a character.
Ooh,
know,
okay.
yes.
I like that.
You know, like we've had good Bond villains recently, but I can only remember one of them. They've just been kind of forgetful. Where
Yeah.
you don't
Yeah,
forget
interesting.
Jaws, you don't
Yeah.
forget, Blofeld, or you don't forget those guys, and
Yep.
that's what I want in a villain, someone that I'm gonna remember.
Ooh,
I love
I mean,
that,
it works
dude.
for superheroes. A superhero is only as good and memorable as his villain can be, and we all remember Spidey and Doc Ock. And
Yeah,
we
that's
remember,
right.
Yeah, it's true.
And so I want someone that goes with James Bond like that.